This is the Government Week in Review for the week ending Friday, January 5th, 2024. I am Rakisha St. Louis. In the headlines, 8 ministerial portfolio reassignments announced by Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell. Staff and students at St. David's RC School start the new school term in comfort. We'll have details to this story and more after the break.
At the NIS, our team proudly works to support the evolving needs of Grenadians. We have made some changes to our operations and want to keep you informed. Firstly, we are happy to introduce the new unemployment benefit. This benefit will provide an insured person with 50% of his or her former income in the case of sudden unemployment. To support this benefit and other benefits we offer, it was necessary to increase the contribution rate. The contribution rate will increase gradually each year until it reaches 16% in 2031. As always, the contribution will be split between you and your employer. The pensionable age will also increase from 60 to 65 years. This increase will also be gradually reaching age 65 in 2029. Pensioners will continue to be eligible for a pension from age 60, but will receive a reduced payment. The NIS recognizes that the prices of basic customer goods are increasing globally. Therefore, we are happy to also increase the weekly minimum pension payment by 25%. Finally, we have adjusted our survivors' benefit payment to a percentage of the age pension minimum. Widows, widowers, and dependent parents will receive 100% or $58 weekly, while children will receive 50% or $29 weekly of the deceased's pension. We are here to make the transition to these new changes as clear and simple as possible. If you have any questions on how these changes impact you and your family, please contact our new informational hotline at 440-6647 or visit www.nisgrenada.org. Thank you for allowing us to be your social security provider.
Welcome back. 8 ministerial portfolio reassignments were announced on Friday by Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell following a cabinet reshuffle aimed at strengthening the government's thrust to move the public service and the country forward through its transformation agenda. Prime Minister Mitchell said the reassignments are necessary to encourage continued growth and learning. He challenged his colleagues to use every assignment as a learning opportunity to improve themselves and the country.
It has been a steep learning curve for all of us. Part of this reassignment is an appreciation that we need to continuously learn. There's no such thing as becoming comfortable when you are serving the public, because every day a new challenge emerges that we must confront, that we must diagnose, and that we must be able to serve. So I think it's really an opportunity for all of us to continue to grow, to develop, and to be better at what we do, which is serving the public. I look forward to continuing to work with all of us. I welcome the 2 new members of the team, Senator Quince Britton and MP Delma Thomas. I want to take this opportunity to thank the entire cabinet for the service that has been rendered to the public over the last 18 months. I want to thank the staff at the respective ministries who worked with our ministers, and I want to wish the ministers who have had their portfolios reassigned the best of luck, the best of strength, good health, and success as we collectively continue to take this part of service to the people of Grenada.
The ministers took their oaths of office and received letters of appointment on Thursday in the presence of the Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cecile Lagrenade.
I, Gloria Ann Thomas, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
I, Lennox John Andrews, do swear that I will faithfully execute my appointment as Minister for Economic Development, Planning, Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
I, Delma Thomas, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister for Mental Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs with special responsibility for Mungay Psychiatric Hospital without fear, favor, affection, or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
I, Gayton Jonathan Lacrette, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister for Youth and Sports without fear or favor, affection, or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
I, David Evelyn Andrew, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister for Education without fear or favor, affection, or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor and uphold, preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
I, Quince Britton, do swear that I will faithfully execute my appointment as Parliamentary Secretary within the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture to provide assistance to the Minister of Culture, to the Minister without fear, favor, affection, or ill will, and that in the execution of functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
I, Adrian Augustine Thomas, do swear that I will faithfully execute my appointment as Minister for Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
I, Philip Telesford, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister for Health without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
In related news, reassigned members of Cabinet are grateful for the opportunity to serve in new ministries following Friday's announcement of a Cabinet reshuffle. The ministers, including new Cabinet members, Honorable Delma Thomas and Senator the Honorable Quince Britton, say they are ready to serve the Grenadian public. Some of them outlined immediate plans.
I pledge my support to the Prime Minister and the Cabinet and to the rest of the Grenadian public at home and in the diaspora to do my very best. I recognize that it is indeed a huge challenge, and as everything else, I'm prepared to offer my best.
I have full confidence in this team and the values and the core values of the team and the mission to put Grenada first and the concerns and issues that will help lift Grenada and transform Grenada genuinely. And so I express full confidence in the team. Wherever we are assigned, there's a competence and a genuineness that all members carry that I know we will serve with wherever we are assigned.
And I also want to thank the Prime Minister for giving me the opportunity to serve in another ministry, Ministry of Tourism, Creative Affairs and Culture. I must say, and I'm saying it with a smile, that the Ministry of Culture has always been dear to my heart also, so I'm quite comfortable.
Therefore, pay my thank you for that choice, put it that way, of asking me to go on the ground and to bring back agriculture to where, it's supposed to be, and where it can be, and where it should be. And I have within me, that drive and that enthusiasm and that motivation to do just that. So I'm saying to my people, let's get ready for a new task and a new paradigm, a paradigm shift.
I am very much elated to be now responsible for 2 additional areas, community development and housing. And I know on the area of community development, we have an opportunity there to empower people and to bring changes in our community.
I have already met with my management team, and we have designated the years 2024 to 2027 as the years of global youth leadership and succession planning. In that, we believe that every program and every project that falls under the auspices of the Ministry of Youth and Sport has a developmental, a leadership aspect to it. We have a number of sporting personalities in the diaspora who are leading in their own right in the sporting industry. The succession planning of the strategic focus for 2027 will be capacity building both internally and externally, as well as HR building both internally and externally.
Let me first thank the Prime Minister for including me as part of his team to work for the benefit of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Martinique. I want to reiterate my commitment to the people and to the Ministry of Mental Health. As everyone in the media know, my passion as it relates to mental health, and so I want to pledge that I will give my best and do what it takes to improve people with mental health, to work along to end stigma and discrimination and all the other aspects of the ministry.
You have my firm commitment and support, and just as my former colleague, my colleague mentioned, her passion. My passion as well is with culture, so it falls directly within my domain. So I pledge, my commitment to do the best that I can.
Honorable Ron Redhead's role as Minister for State with responsibility for youth, sports and culture has been revoked to advance in his academic studies. The minister thanked the team at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture for their dedication during his tenure. He will continue to serve as a Member of Parliament as elected on June 23, 2022 for the constituency of St. George Northeast.
But I want to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his gracious offer and to allowing St. George Northeast to experience what I would consider a very important part of our cabinet and our government. I think it was very important. We learned significant lessons and we built a team, and we are still a team. So I want to reiterate that I still remain the Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast, fully committed, not just to party, but certainly to country.
The National Organizing Committee, during a live broadcast on Wednesday, virtually unveiled the proposed CARICOM roundabout, which stands as an embodiment of Caribbean unity in celebration of Grenada's half-century commitment to the region. The roundabout is another of the projects slated to be rolled out during Grenada's year-long Independence Jubilee celebrations. The virtual unveiling was done by the head of the Organizing Committee, Secretariat, Gail Purcell.
So the final decision, this is a rendering that we're proposing, will be selected in March, with the roundabout's completion scheduled for July. We've also identified 2 potential locations for the roundabout, Upper Lothers Lane and the Trubu roundabout, and the final location will also be put for further public discussion and selection. So this initial design, which should be on your screen, this initial design for the CARICOM roundabout is a powerful symbol of Grenada's enduring commitment to regional integration and development, marking 5 decades of contribution to the Caribbean community. It stands as a testament to unity and collective growth, not only for Grenada, but for the entire region. At the heart of this magnificent roundabout stands a central flagpole. This flagpole proudly flies the Grenada flag year-round. During special CARICOM or regional related events on the island, it gracefully transitions to the CARICOM flag, signifying the region's shared purpose and cooperation.
Encircling the central flagpole are 20 medium-height pillars, each standing 4 feet tall.
These pillars represent the 20 CARICOM states that make up the Caribbean community. Each pillar will bear the engraved names of the respective country. As daylight fades and the sun sets below the horizon, the roundabout undergoes a captivating transformation. Each pillar comes to life as the engraved names are illuminated, casting a spellbinding display that enchants passerbys during the tranquil night hours.
Educator Dr. Wendy Grenade, who was a part of the panel discussion when the rendering was unveiled, says it is important to celebrate achievements, for in celebrating we discover and rediscover ourselves.
And I want to commend the organizers for the renaming of the roundabout, because there is something in regional integration studies called cognitive regionalism. And what is cognitive regionalism? It is where you internalize what regional cooperation means in terms of the benefits that it can bring to people. So when a little child from St. Paul's is coming to the Anglican High School and passes and sees that roundabout with all the flags and says, but mommy, what does this flag represent? And the mom says, you know, this is the flag for Antigua. And this is what it means. It is symbolic. And symbolism becomes very important for us to understand the meaningfulness of regionalism.
This is the Week in Review. When we return, Annette Moore reports on some good news for staff and students at the St. David's RC School.
Your new GRENLEC bill is even easier to read and still has all the valuable information you need to track and manage your usage.
Hey Mom, okay, your friendly tech support is here. So you got the new GRENLEC bill? Let's take a look. The new bill makes it even easier to see your bill total, the due date, and much more. And take a closer look. It actually is a lot easier to understand. Let me show you. You can still see exactly what the charges are for, but in a great new format, it even shows how the cost of generating and delivering the electricity to you is calculated using your actual usage. Anyway, look who says hi, and see you soon.
Your new GRENLEC bill, easier to understand and easier to track your usage.
Welcome back. Staff and students of the St. David's Roman Catholic School are happy that the new year and the new term started off on a good note. On Thursday, Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative for St. David, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Education Minister Honorable David Andrew, and other cabinet members witnessed the handing over of the institution. The over $4 million project, which began in 2022, included complete construction of buildings and drains, fencing and other works to classrooms and existing structures. Annette Moore attended the handover ceremony and filed this report.
The newly refurbished and extended primary level institution, the St. David's Catholic School, was handed over during a ceremony on Thursday, June 4th at the school compound. Shortly after the Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell's arrival at the school, the ribbon-cutting ceremony was held. Keys to the school facility were handed over by the contractor, Desmond John, to the Prime Minister, who in turn gave them to the Minister for Education, Senator the Honourable David Andrew. The keys were then presented to the Principal, Nicole Batiste. The refurbishment was completed at a cost of almost $4.1 million EC. Sunrise Construction JV Incorporated was the contractor for the project. Work began in August 2022 and was completed in December 2023. Managing Director Desmond John detailed the scope of works.
The project overview. It was a renovation of 3 existing buildings, namely the upper classroom block, lower classroom block, and kindergarten building, all in derelict condition. The demolition of the existing timber storage building and construction of a gazebo in its place. The complete construction of a new 2-story administrative building divided into principal's office with bathrooms, secretary area, staff room, kitchenette, and toilet. External works include perimeter fence, vehicular and pedestrian access gate, covered paved walkways, curbs, external stairs, drains, stormwater disposal.
John gave detailed information about the scope of renovations, noting masonry and concrete repairs to many areas, repairs to the steel building frame, replacement of all roofing, replacement of all windows with hurricane-rated aluminum louvered windows, installation of a new electrical system, new folding partitions, replacement of doors with new fire-rated metal doors, installation of all new toiletware, the refurbishment and tiling of all floors, and general painting of the school.
We want to thank the government of Grenada, the Ministry of Infrastructure, Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance for collaborating with us to make this project a success.
The principal of the St. David's Catholic School is elated to return to improved surroundings.
To God be the glory. Great things He has done. Everyone in attendance should be happy that this lovely building is now complete, because it will have a significant impact on how our boys and girls develop intellectually and professionally. Seeing this amazing construction from the inside out gives me a great sense of satisfaction. And I know that everyone present here must also feel proud and satisfied with a job well done. School's new infrastructure would never have been possible without the support of the government of Grenada, and for that we are wholeheartedly thankful.
Parliamentary Representative Honorable Deacon Mitchell expressed his contentment with the successful conclusion of the project.
I want to wish them, the teachers and the principal of this school, a happy 2024. I believe, and I see the principal smiling, that they will be a little bit happier in 2024 because of the fact that we're here this morning than they were in 2023.
Honorable Mitchell views the St. David's Catholic School as a symbol of community togetherness, strength, and resilience.
I was very fortunate to be educated at this institution. And some of my teachers are still here with us today. And some of them are still teaching. They haven't retired. And so, for the little ones, if they did such a good job on me 30 years ago, I can guarantee you that they're doing a better job on you today. So you are very lucky to have some of the same teachers that I had when I was a student. And so I want you to love and appreciate your students, love and appreciate one another, and know that you have a significantly improved environment in which to do so, to enjoy your schooling, to make friends, to go home and tell your parents about your day at school, to speak to them about what's happening, speak to them about the teacher, the friends that you meet, the school activities, and to encourage your parents to play an active part in your schooling. Of course, you will tell them that the school is much nicer than the community center and the temporary facilities that you had in Berlin, and that you are happy that it has happened. But it also means you have to take care of the school. You see, it's nice and clean today. I will be coming back every now and then with surprise visits to make sure that it's just as nice and clean 2, 3, 4 months or a year or 2 years from today.
The Prime Minister relayed appreciation to all stakeholders, particularly the community.
So thank you to all of you for the support. I look forward to continuing to working with you to ensure that we continue to build our schools, build our communities, so that the next generation of Grenadians can remember their schooling as fondly as I remember mine.
The Education Minister noted that the project was not originally expected to be as extensive as it was, but commended the community for its cooperation and efforts to make the period of disruption more bearable.
And it's heart-wrenching, indeed, as the contractor, the director said, to see the way we've allowed the schools to get to that point, putting our nation's children at risk. It's our commitment, under the leadership of our Prime Minister and the MP for this constituency, and a government that is genuinely interested in education and transformation through education, to ensure that we engage in preventative maintenance. In fact, while just after Christmas, we had a meeting led by the Prime Minister and Minister for Infrastructure to engage the relevant contractors and personnel to put in place a structure to preventatively maintain schools so it does not have to deteriorate to that point.
Secretary of the Catholic Education Board of Management, Maria Viveg, also expressed thanks.
It is our expectation that this new environment would serve as a breath of fresh air to motivate everyone who uses it to higher achievements.
Kindergarten teacher and past teacher of Prime Minister Mitchell, Shirley Telesford, delivered a poem.
Welcome, welcome to our brand new school. All you thought was renovation alone they're doing? No, all things brand new. The staff room, the kitchen, stove, fridge, even the water in the pipe. Some call it St. David's University. Some say it's a college they get. Some say give it to SDSS, let them stay in the grounds. Some still in shock. They don't know what to say. When we were struggling in the old building, where are they? Thank God for Prime Minister Dick Mitchell and his team. They have us feel like kings and queens.
For the GIS Week in Review, Amanette Moore.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, Marine Resources and Cooperatives continues the process of acquiring comprehensive data to highlight the status of Grenada's agricultural sector with the continuation of the National Agriculture Census. The process is a collaborative initiative with the Central Statistical Office. Census Coordinator Lavon Mapp says enumerators across the Tri-Island are back in the field after a break for the Christmas holidays.
We started the agriculture census November 2023 last year, and we are scheduled to be completed in February this year. We have persons out in the field. However, we took a little break for the Christmas season because persons were engaged otherwise, but we have resumed enumeration. At the close of last year, 2020, December, we had interviewed over 5,000 households. And so I'm once again appealing to you to cooperate and be on the lookout for the enumerators as they come to your area.
This national census is the first to be held in over a decade, with previous agricultural census undertaken in 1961, 1975, 1981, 1995, and the last in 2012. MAP explains that this census will help the ministry to assess the agricultural sector while identifying critical areas and collecting important information that will be used to help develop plans, policies, and initiatives to improve the lives and the livelihoods of farmers dependent on the sector.
The agriculture census has about 3 or 4 main purposes, and I'll just explain some of them. One of them is to get an idea of the state of the agriculture sector. The last census was done in 2012, and we know between 2012 and now a lot of things may have changed. So it's just to find out what has changed and to see where we are at. Also, the information collected is confidential. I want to assure you that it's confidential and that it would only be used for planning purposes and not for any taxation, so have no fears. The information would also give the international agencies an idea of where we're at and what interventions would be necessary going forward.
The ministry's recent call for enumerators is to ensure that there are more people on the ground to ensure that the census is completed by February 2024.
As some of you may have seen, we have sent out a call for additional enumerators. This is because we want to have more persons on the field in order to complete the census on time. Over 150 persons so far have expressed an interest, and we are happy for those of you who have shown an interest or expressed an interest in being an enumerator, and training has started and will continue over the weekend. So come next week, Monday, Tuesday, we'll have more persons out in the field in order to be able to complete the census on time. We are making an appeal once again to our householders and farmers to cooperate with our enumerators. And for those of you who would need to go to the field to count the number of trees, we're asking you to please do so in order to help speed up the process when the enumerator comes to your house.
We take our final break. When we come back, we'll hear about Grenada's participation in the Miss OECS pageant in Dominica next Friday. Welcome back.
I am Amani Francis, the reigning Carnival Queen for Grenada 2023. I am currently en route to Dominica to represent the island in the Miss OECS.
On Friday to participate in the Miss OECS pageant in Dominica next Friday, January 12th. The pageant is a prestigious regional event showcasing young women's talent and grace from various Caribbean islands. It allows participants to showcase their cultural heritage and promote regional unity. It also serves as a platform for them to advocate for critical social issues and positively impact their community. It is Miss Grenada's first competition outside of the island. She says her preparation has reinforced what she learned for Spice Mass, which she will now transfer into the Miss OECS pageant competition.
Preparation was a bit tedious, however, it was much easier than preparing for our national pageant. I think it was just a matter at this point of reinforcing and reviewing what it is that I learned in preparation for our pageant, and just recalling that knowledge and getting ready to transfer it to a regional competition.
Chairman of Spice Mass, Cecile Noel, wished Miss Francis all the best in the competition and assured her that the whole of Grenada will be supporting her.
We are very much aware of her talent, her ability, and we know that she would go there and make us all proud. So as we say, you know, as she departs today, just let her know that we are all back home rooting for her, and we'll be checking and waiting and looking at it live on the 12th when the show is actually held.
Miss Francis will compete against St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica and the British Virgin Islands. And finally, the Grenadian CARICOM journey, the role of T.A. Marichaud in shaping early integration movement, among other critical historical areas, formed part of a panel discussion on Wednesday as part of the National Organizing Committee's plans for Grenada's 50th anniversary of independence. A team of esteemed Grenadians formed a panel that looked at critical areas in history for both Grenada and CARICOM over the past 50 years that included economic integration, reflections and prospects, Caribbean integration as an indispensable necessity for the 21st century. Minister for Foreign Affairs Honorable Joseph Andel said CARICOM symbolizes everything good about the Caribbean and the Caribbean civilization, describing the states as small dots on the world map, creating a huge impact.
It is incumbent upon us to keep the flames of Caribbean unity alive, not only to honor the memories of those who have gone before us and have paved the way, but for the young ones for whom we ought to be shining examples. Our journey to this point has been a long and sometimes tortuous one. But I'm confident that we have the wherewithal, by way of human resource, to transform the Caribbean landscape for the good of all of our citizens.
Historian Curtis Jacobs presented on the role of T.A. Marichaud in shaping early integration movement.
When he became old enough, he became the founder of, or one of the co-founders of, the newspaper called the West Indian, with the masthead, the West Indies must be West Indian. And his life, we could say, was one of public service for his whole natural life. And his birth and his lifetime, his public career, has been basically what Grenada's political and constitutional movement towards what we know today. So by 1925, when the British government reinstituted what is called the legislative principle, and we began to have representative government in that sense, people elected, T.A. Marichaud became the elected member of the town of St. George from 1925? No. Yes, 1925 until 1958, the day of his death.
Mr. Aaron Moses looked at the economic integration reflections and prospects.
We have been able to collaborate and bring significant benefits to the region. And that is viewed by some of the institutions that we have been able to put together, institutions that continue to deliver services, goods and services to our people. So we're talking about institutions such as the Caribbean Development Bank that fund most of our development. And as you know, that bank is owned by all Caribbean countries, some regional institutions, countries like Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, as well as Canada and Germany, France. They put funds into that institution, funds that we have access to fund the government capital development programs. Then we have UWI, and I don't need to explain to you the impact that UWI has on the region. Significant institutions, quite a few people in this room are graduates of UWI, have graduated a few 100,000 professionals across the region. It now has over 40,000 students. That places it in one of the large universities of the world. And they have continued to deliver. We have the CXE. Some of you, well, all of you, I think, now do CXEs. In my time, we did O-levels. In fact, when I graduated and started to teach, that was the first time CXE exams, so I had to teach the CXE syllabus then. That has been a tremendous success.
To understand the journey, Grenada in CARICOM and CARICOM in Grenada, one must understand it from the following context.
The Caribbean community is a summation of its unique and complex parts. Hence, Grenada's story has been shaped as it continues to shape the Caribbean whole. There is therefore an intricate relationship between Grenada's historical evolution over the past 50 years and CARICOM's trajectory over the last 50 years. Now, there's something called the national situation, and Aaron alluded to it. Whether we're speaking about ASEAN in Southeast Asia, whether we're speaking about the African Union or the European Union, we saw Brexit recently, whether we're speaking about NAFTA or the OECS or CARICOM, there is something called the national situation, where there is a nexus, the global, national, and local nexus, where there would be global forces and incentives for you to integrate and cooperate. And we see that in our foreign policy and the complexity with which we organize ourselves globally. In moments of crisis, whether we're thinking about climate change or otherwise, we see how we vote in the UN collectively. With solidarity for Cuba, we see how we vote collectively. And then we see on other occasions how more powerful countries could pull us apart.
That was educator Dr. Wendy Grenade. Former CARICOM ambassador Ali Gill presented on Caribbean integration and indispensable necessity for the 21st century via Zoom. That story just ended the Week in Review, ending January 5th, 2024. On behalf of the entire news team, public relations officers, and producers, I'm Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us.